Welcome to Operational Harmony, balancing business and mental well-being, where we achieve goals without sacrificing peace. I'm Nikki, and we're joined today by Tonya. I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Thank you, Nikki. It's good to be here. I'm Tonya Gossage, and I'm the owner of Gossage Performance Consulting, and my podcast is Influence and Growth Mastery. And I train and help entrepreneurs grow their audience and grow their client base. I do all things around helping you gain influence and grow your business. I'm also a digital and affiliate marketer. So I love to mentor people, help you impact the lives of others. I came from a corporate background of banking of 34 years, and I decided I no longer wanted to be in banking. And what I was really good at was mentoring people, coaching people, building authentic relationships, and helping people grow. And so I was really responsible for helping lots of people grow from what I'm going to say, and I don't want this to come off wrong, but really grow from lower positions and get recognized for what their skill sets were and help them get promoted. And so I've really taken that skill set. I was good at finding diamonds in the rough, I'll say it that way, and helping them get promoted. So I've really taken that skill set and really helping entrepreneurs today take what they're really good at and putting that to work in their business and building an audience and a client base and helping them grow their businesses today.
I have seen some of the stuff you're doing, and that's why you're here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I have enjoyed working with you on some things and look forward to working with you on many more things.
Thank you, Nikki. I've enjoyed working for you with and having you do some work for me. When I first met you, I remember going back to that day and being in that virtual setting with you and learning some of the things that you do. Definitely techie was such a memorable moment for me. And you and I clicked then and have been able to bond. And I would even say create that authentic connection, which I love doing. And we have been able to have a great relationship from that day moving forward. And so I really appreciate what you and I have been able to build together.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed being on your podcast, and I am grateful that you were able to come on to be my first guest.
Yes,
in my second episode.
Yes, yes. It's great. Okay. It's great to be here. So today we want to talk about, I love what you're doing your podcast on, the business side of things and mental health. And so today I want to talk about building authentic connections and relationships with people and how that really transitions into entrepreneurship and how people can actually start building authentic connections and relationships and how that can actually help you begin to build your audience, build your business, and ultimately help you build clients and your clientele. And I think that's where we want to start today, if that sounds good to you.
Yes, very much.
Perfect. So when you're out, Nikki, networking, whether, it's in a virtual setting or whether it is in an in-person setting, and coming off of what I would call the heels of the pandemic, even though it's been 4 years now, people sometimes still have difficulty building relationships because we were in that go mentality, and then everything just stopped, if you will. I wanted to say we just halted everything. And we got into a situation to where we weren't able to go out and do things. We didn't really talk to people. We were comatose, pretty much.
We were in a bubble.
We were in a bubble, yeah. And so then at that point, we had to learn how to communicate again. And so we started off in the virtual realm, if you will, relearning how to engage with people and building that know, like, and trust factor again. And one of the things that some people that were extroverted became introverted, people that were introverted became extroverted, because all we had was social media. And then getting on virtual meetings, and virtual meetings back then, you had Zoom and you had a few of those other things that we had meetings around in the office setting. And wow, I mean, we started doing Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting after Zoom meeting, and that became the way. And, even for me, I was doing banking consulting, and I was like, what are we going to do? Because I was in the person to person situation. And I was like, okay, I got to move this training that I was doing to the virtual situation. And so you had to learn how to build these connections with people. And so it was a little bit tougher for some to do it virtually, but you learn what questions really to start asking people to start building those authentic relationships with people. And once you found, that you could engage with somebody and find a true connection with somebody, whether it was about their hobbies, whether it was about their family, whether it was about them personally, whether they had some type of problem they were going through, and you could literally relate with people about something, then you started seeing that you could connect with people. For me, whenever I got into Alignable, and a lot of people still don't know what Alignable is today, but it's a networking platform. I initially thought it was a social media platform, and it's not. It's a networking platform. But when I got to Alignable and started having conversations there, Nikki, and that's where you and I met.
Yes.
I found there that some of my really good friends today, like you and I mean, we talk almost daily now, and we message back and forth all the time, even though we're colleagues and peer-to-peer entrepreneurs. We started building true relationships because when we found out what problems people had, then we could start having conversation around those types of problems. And here's what I really found was you could start recommending various things to people, and people didn't feel sold to. And that's what I think in today's world. And this is where I've really, and feel free to interrupt and let's have a conversation around this, because this is where I've really seen the business changes happening today. And I'll even just say in Alignable, we've adopted, and Jason Integrity, which I've had on my podcast, adopted this word called the goofball effect. People that are still in this, let's have a conversation and immediately go into the sales strategy, they're called goofballs today. And we're trying to change that world into, you don't be a goofball, you build a relationship today, a true connection with somebody. When you start talking and conversing with someone at a networking meeting, on a virtual call, in a social media post, and when you do that, you start building a true connection with someone, and that person feels the authenticity, if you will, that somebody cares about me. Nikki cares about me. She's asking true questions about, who am I? What do I want to accomplish in my business? Where do I want to go in the next, year? Well, even earlier than that, 3 months, 1 year, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe. And when you start doing that, to me, I feel like you care about me. And then when you want to know, well, what are you going to do to accomplish that? Well, then I even feel like you really care about me. And then you start offering suggestions or something like that. Then I start building this trust factor because you're not trying to sell me. You're offering suggestions, you're offering solutions, you're offering, those types of things to help me to build trust with you. And you may even say to me, you know what? I have this checklist of 7 strategies, or I have this ebook, or I have this thing that I think might offer you value. Would you like to have it? I'm like, wow, Nikki provides me so much value during this interaction, whether we're on a Zoom together, or we're on a podcast together, or we're in this messenger conversation back and forth. I see the value, Nikki, that you're trying to offer me. And so that's where we build this true, authentic connection that we're having back and forth. And I don't look at you like you're some goofball wanting to sell me initially and take my money. I'm looking at you like you're trustworthy, you're authentic, you want to offer me value. And when you do that, then I'm more apt to listen to you and what you have. If you do sometime down the road, do approach me for more value, or try to make me an offer, or you ask me to come to your webinar, or whatever that might be, or you have an affiliate offer that you say, Tonya, I've been using this thing, whatever this thing might be, software, platform, whatever. I would like for you to take a look at it because I think it might be helpful in your business. I'm going to be more apt to listen to you, because you've provided me so much value. Grant Cardone has this thing that he says all the time, and I believe it 100%, is give, 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 and give some more. And when you do, that's how you build more and more authentic relationships. And, I learned that when back in my banking career, when I would meet with vendors, if I was not able to do a relationship with them because maybe the bank wasn't ready for whatever it was they wanted to do, if I could refer them to somebody else, I would. Or
how do you time that?
How do I time that referral?
Yeah.
Well, so because I went to a lot of conferences and things like that, I might have already had a discussion with somebody that I might know was in the look for something like that. And I could say, I know for a fact that we're not ready for that. We're just not set up. We're not ready. But I know I had a conversation with someone that is looking for that. And then I could do an introductory email or even a phone call. Now, if I did a phone call, I would not set that phone call up until I contacted or emailed the person to say, hey, I'm getting ready to do an introductory call. Are you open to it? And I would get their permission. But if I did an email, I would just, launch an email and say, hey, I want to introduce the two of you. This company has this to offer, and I know you all are looking, and I would like to introduce the two of you. So I would know that they were looking. If I did not know they were looking, I would let them know if and when I hear of someone looking for this type of business, I will definitely keep you top of mind. And so one of the things that I did was I kept a list. And
didn't you say before you had a spreadsheet?
Yeah, that's what I started to say was I had a spreadsheet. Back then I had a spreadsheet. Now I use HubSpot. And so I would put them in there, and I would just put, the name of the person that I used, and I would put notes about, our discussion. And I kept their business cards. And I have to tell you, when I left the bank, I had 3 boxes, they're card boxes, business card boxes. And I took all those business cards with me. And when I left, I went into bank consulting, and I sat down in my floor here in my office one day, and I separated all of those business cards into priority.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I did. I separated those into business priority, and I thought, this is a company that I'm going to reach out to because I know what their service was like and what the realm of what I'm going to be doing in my consulting business. So they're going to be somebody that I want to partner with in what I'm doing. And so this is what I tell people when I get them on a call with Alignable. This is one of the top pieces of advice that I give everybody. So those of you that are listening to this podcast, I want you to write this down, grab you a piece of paper, pause this podcast and write this down, because it's so important. And this is how you build your network. And this is how we've always said your network is your net worth. And sometimes it is. And people used to tell me all the time, I can't believe you don't charge for this. And then I was like, I'm going to start charging for this because I'm going to teach people how to do this. So this is how critical this information is what you want to do is you want to build your list of top people that you meet. And there's a young lady in North Carolina. She and I've had this conversation, and she is excellent at doing it. She sent me a referral introduction yesterday that I have got to follow up on before midnight tonight. I've got to follow up on that because she sends excellent referrals, and she's got this process down. And so here's what it is. When you meet people, you need to, whether you use a spreadsheet, you use a CRM, you use business cards, whatever it is that you create as your system, or you have an electronic thing on your phone, business card thing on your phone, whatever your system is. But when you meet people, you put their name, the name of their business, a few tidbits about them in there, and kind of where you met them and what it is that they do, and whether or not you would refer them or not. And so, for example, the name of your business is Nikki's Office, but that's not what you, that's what you do. That's the name of your business. But what I would do is I would put in the notes, and then I would also put managerial responsibilities for small business owners and entrepreneurs. And then I might list some things that I know you do. Social media management, all of these things that I know that you do. And so what's critical about that is if I run onto Susie Jones on the street and she asks me, who do you know that does video and audio editing? I not only, this is why spreadsheets are cumbersome, yes, and they're not really automated. But what you do love about spreadsheets is the search feature, because it comes up in so many of those fields. Is because when you search, I can go into that sort feature or whatever, and when I search, I can get not only you, but I can get 10 other people that do audio and video editing. Okay. So whatever system that you're using, whether it's Trello boards or whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you come up with something that is good at editing. I also like putting you as a contact in my phone, because when I put you as a contact in my phone, in your company name, so I put your name and I put your company, and then slash, I put video editing. Your company name is so long because it's searchable.
Mm-hmm.
And then people that do video editing, it comes up in the company name. And so I'll be honest, I'm kind of switching. I mean, I love HubSpot, don't get me wrong. But if I'm at a conference, it's much easier for me to put you into
Going
my
anywhere.
Yeah. It's so much easier to put you
Mm-hmm.
in my contacts
Mm-hmm.
than it is to write you down on a piece of paper, come home, try to put you all that stuff in HubSpot. It's just so much easier to put you in my phone right then, because so many people want to exchange right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we exchange a text message right then and there, we can do that. And then I can, create a contact and then put all my notes right there. I'm getting to where I have more than one system, and I want to merge what I have in HubSpot over to my phone contacts. Does that make me have thousands of phone contacts? Yes. But I think I had rather have everybody in my phone contacts at this day and time, because it just seems much simpler. Because when somebody asks me out on the street, I can give it to them right then and there.
And if you're at home, you can go into your thing and have the whole list up there, and you can look at different options for the same person.
Yeah.
Because you have the more visible version at home.
Yeah. I really like putting it in my contacts. I've really started doing that more, because sometimes I have to say, well, when I get home, I'll pull up my HubSpot and can you have some of that on your phone? It's just much more cumbersome for me to do it that way. I love it in my contacts, and I've really reverted to that, because also you have the notes section, but as long as I know how I'm going to look for you is in the company name, and then I can put the rest in the notes, because I can have your email there. I can have, if you've got multiple phone numbers, I can put that there. But that, I tell everybody, it doesn't matter who you meet. You don't know when you're going to need that person. And I put where I've met you so that I know, because I'm probably not going to remember your name. But if I remember what conference I met you at, and I'll say conference, I can go through my list of conference. If I search by conference, I can go through conferences. I just try to put multiple things that's going to help me remember, people. And your network is, you don't know which influencer. And if they're an influencer, I'll put influencer in there somewhere. I just want multiple ways. And Nikki, it has served me for years. It has served me for years. And
so I use a dot card. Have you ever heard of those?
Yes.
I have a plastic card where I can tap it on the other person's phone, and they have my contact information. It automatically gives them a picture, which I think I might need to update to that to actually be of me and not my dragon.
Yes,
and
you do.
It gives them all my social media contacts, my email, phone number, all of that. So that's all in their phone. And I had some space to put some of the things I do. So they have that available, in the search. So that automatically fills all that information out for somebody else on their phone. So instead of you having to save my information, we just have to make sure that you know how to use your phone and go through the save buttons you have to hit.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and not everybody's going to have a dot card, but absolutely, if people did carry that around, that would be phenomenal. But I do tell everybody that I meet, it's so important. I mean, having those cards that I brought back from me, I can't tell you how many people still to this day will reach out to me and say, do you remember that vendor that we used? Or banks will reach out to me because they know I worked at the bank. Do you have anybody that you would recommend? I have that information. And so you start to be looked at as a power connector. You start to be looked at as an influencer in the connecting world. And I've been looked at that as that type of person for a long time. And there's just something about being able to connect people. And you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to be a connector of people. It levels you up in the entrepreneurship world to be able to have those connections and to be able to say, I know somebody that can help you. I may not can help you, but I know somebody that can help you.
Yeah.
And it's just powerful.
Yep. So going back to making the connections, I know that sometimes I'm not the best at communicating. So how do you start the conversation and get some of their needs out?
So actually, I have a list. I keep a list in a notebook. And so it's repetitive. It's repetitive. And if you would like, and you want to attach it in your show notes or something like that, I'd be happy to provide it. But some of those are like, what's going on in your business? What are you trying to achieve in your business? What's blocking you from achieving those in your business? And then you ask what's blocking you, but then you ask what's stopping you. And so some of the things, they'll answer it, but then you ask it another way. And then when you're having conversations with people, you're trying to find out from them what are their problems. And you're trying to find out if you can actually help them. And then if you can't help them, you're also thinking, because you're going to know as you're asking these questions, am I able to help these individuals? And you're going to be forming thoughts in your head. If you're not able to, who do you know that can? And if nobody comes up off the top of your head, I don't necessarily, I mean, for you, I might, but for somebody that I just met, I'm not going to get on my phone right then and start trying to research who might could help them. But I might say to them, I might have a source that can help you. Give me till tomorrow or give me a couple of days, depending on my schedule. And let me see if I can come up with somebody that I might can refer you to. And then, if I can, I will tell them, let me get back with you and let you know whether I can refer you or not refer you. And, oftentimes I can think of somebody and sometimes I just can't. I'm like, I just, off the top of my head, I can't come up with somebody in your field because it's not in an area I've dealt with. And I will tell you that there's been times when I've reached out into my group. I've occasionally even gone to my Facebook group and have said, does anybody know anybody that can do this? And people have responded. And
yeah, you helped me with that website.
Yeah.
You got me connected to somebody who helped me way faster than I would have liked because he fixed the problem in 2 minutes. And I was like, okay, I should have been able to solve that then.
But, it's just for me, it's all about being resourceful and just trying to find out if I can help people or not. And is everybody going to go through the steps that I go through? No, because I'm just going to tell you, not everybody wants to spend their time helping other people. They're going to look at it like I could be making money for myself rather than trying to make money. I look at it like my entire goal is to be impactful and to offer value to people.
Mhm.
Some people are like, I want to be making money every hour of the day. And so I'm more about impact and value. And the more impact and value that I give, the money comes back to me. And people then send me people in return. It may not be those people, but it comes to me. And so I just have a different perspective because I enjoy helping people and providing value.
Yeah.
And I've never, well, let me back up. I started to say I've never had anybody take advantage of that. I have. And you just cut those people off. You know how to do it. You just cut those people off. And you just say, I can't support, I can give you so much support. And then at some point, I have to start charging you for the support. And so there's some people you're willing to help at no cost. And then there's some people that at some point you have to send them an invoice,
Yeah.
But
So,
most people don't take advantage.
most people. There are apples in every bunch. So basically with our connection, we started off in Alignable at a meeting. And then I did your podcast with you back in March. We'll put that link in the show notes as well so people can go see the cross-reference. And I think that was the first time I really started talking to anybody about a lot of things publicly. So that was interesting for me. One of the things that I've come across, especially lately, because, we're in Arkansas and we just had that tornado that destroyed half of downtown. I was just in the car with a lady who gave me a ride to an appointment, which isn't normal. And she was talking about how somebody came and knocked on her door and told her that there was hail damage on her roof and wanted her to let him up on the roof to double check. And she's like, there was no hail here. No, thank you. And she's like, I think that might have been a scam. And I'm like, the fact that you're doubting tells me that you need more information. So, as background, I work with the roofer. Of course, he's in Tennessee, so he can't help anybody here in Arkansas. But the big difference is both of the 3-4 companies in Tennessee that I know, they don't use ads. They're not knocking on doors. They use networking. They completely use networking to get, they network with realtors and with insurance companies and all that to get the customers for themselves. And that works out really good for them. They have really great businesses, and I am proud to be working with them on that. So then you turn around and you come to Arkansas. I'm like, we had somebody knock on the door here. Of course, he was like, yeah, you guys have hail damage. Why does every conversation in Arkansas start off with you have hail damage? But like this roofer goes, I can go take a look. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not the one who makes those decisions. So no, you're not getting on the roof. Second of all, I work with a roofer. You're being awfully pushy. And he's like, oh, so you can help them through the process. And I was like, yeah, I'll help them with the Xactimate and anything else they need. And he just kind of looked at me like I was the dumb one because he didn't know the basic software that you need as a roofer or construction person working with insurance. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to recommend they work with you. How bad does it have to be before you're looking at the person cross-eyed going, and you want me to what? I know I took a long way to get there. But that's kind of like, because there are people who you look at them at first meeting and you're like, wait, you're in business for yourself. How successful are you? Because like, I'm not doing business with. What does it take for you to get that feeling right from the bat and to know that the person you're talking to is not somebody you want their information because you're not helping anybody. You're not sending him to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right off the bat. First of all, do you have knowledge about what those people are talking about? And then the second thing is your gut. What is your gut telling you about the individual? And then I think thirdly, I'm going to say something that probably a lot of the people that listen to the podcast, they may or may not know anything about, is human design, the way we process our own information and how we make decisions, because we all process information differently. Some of us can make really quick judgment calls, and some of us have to delay making the decision because we have to think about what just happened and they got to sleep on it. So I think maybe not making quick decisions if you're one of those type of people. But when you have somebody that approaches you like that and quickly your gut is telling you this person's off because you have some background information like you do. You work with those kind of people and that procedure that just happened is not normal. I was looking for a receipt that documented my dog's vaccinations this morning in my personal email because I have to upload it to a website that was requiring the information. And when I was looking for that receipt, I saw an email that supposedly come from booking.com to PayPal. And it was a refund for $15.70 that was denied because I didn't claim it. Well, the minute I saw it, I had the gut check. That was fraud because number one, it didn't look like all of PayPal's other emails that I get. And number two, it talked about a flight refund that I requested through booking.com. And I have not flown anywhere in over a year. And
wait. You got a $15 discount from a flight ticket? What flight ticket is $15?
Yeah, it was a partial. It was a partial.
Oh,
refund.
Okay. I was about to say, wait a minute.
Yeah, no,
That's even more fishy.
Yeah, it wasn't a full refund. It was just a partial refund on something. But I knew because I have knowledge. Number one, I have background knowledge in security from banking because I worked with the team who sends out the phishing emails. And I have 2 PayPal accounts, So I get emails from PayPal and I also work with booking.com. So I just knew from the way I had knowledge, number one. Also, my gut immediately told me this is fraud. This is phishing. And so I could make that quick decision. And then as I looked further into my emails, they had made multiple attempts to try to get me to click on these links in this email, and even had attached what was a fake PDF document that was supposedly a receipt. Well, I wasn't going to open that either.
Don't do that.
No. So, to your question, when you have knowledge about certain things and people try to take you down the wrong way, even if they present themselves as an entrepreneur or a coach or try to get you to buy a course, I think we smell it. I think we smell fraud from far away. I think the people that get taken are the people that they don't know what they don't know. They've not had any education or exposure to those types of things. Had that fraud, I'm going to call him a scammer. If he went down the street and knocked on maybe an elderly person's door that doesn't work with anybody in insurance, work with a banker, work with another roofer or anybody in construction or, some of those types of people, she would have let him on the roof because she didn't know what she doesn't know. She's not had any type of education in that surrounding area. So she could have gotten taken. And people do all the time. My mother-in-law probably would have believed that person and let him take advantage.
So when it comes to those fraud type things, I think that they target a certain set of people. And I don't want to say this the wrong way and offend you, but that are at a certain age.
You're right. They do.
Because once you get to an age, or people who are in the older generations, I am saying this very carefully.
No, I get it.
I don't want to offend anybody. But the point being is some of those people, they don't know computers. They don't know IT. Right. They don't know anything about computers. And then them are the ones where you see on your Facebook where they get scammed into putting that stupid post that says, Facebook is going to change the thing. And if you post this, they won't do it to you. 100%, if they were going to do the thing, they're going to do it to you no matter what you post. And we were talking about that because you had posted something in Facebook after you had gotten one of those. And so I've kind of noticed, again, no offense, that I'm not in that age group yet. I'm quickly getting there. But I'm not in that age group yet where I'm starting to get all those scammy things. I do get some because, everybody gets some. I have one email where I've gotten like 100 of them saying that they're from zoom.us, but except it's zoom.com. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the site. That's fake, or they have that extra trailing whole bunch of space and numbers and stuff. So I do get some, I do get them occasionally, but I have noticed that the older generation is getting them a lot more and they're falling for it a lot more. And we have gone completely off topic.
Well,
it's worth it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but we have gone way left of center.
It's okay. It's still business. But I think it is because they lack the knowledge around that. But that's why I try to take the opportunity to educate those people because they don't know.
Yeah, my roofer has posted that post 100 times. And I'm just going, okay, can we remember this is not something we need to repost? Now that I've just stuttered for the 7th time. So, once you see that post, you don't need to repeat it. Just because it says to repeat it doesn't mean you have to. This is not that chain email that used to get people. But if you don't like it, keep going. If it's saying do this or Facebook's going to do that, guess what? Facebook's going to get you if they want to get you 100% of the time. You'll find out later when somebody actually reads the terms of services that you were supposed to give them your first child.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Didn't nobody have time to read that terms of services before we grab everything? Like, they're on everything. I'm not reading that. Although I do wonder how many times I've given up something to a company that I'm going to regret later. And when it comes to networking, your mental health needs to be kept in check. A lot of what they were saying are the problems. It comes down to 2 things: anxiety and fear. You have anxiety that you're going to talk to the wrong person, or you're going to talk to the right person at the wrong time and put them off, or you're going to join a conversation that's happening and not say anything because you don't want to interrupt, and so nobody ever actually sees that you're there. And then there's the fear, which is the same things I just said. Anxiety and fear go hand in hand. You start to fear something, you doubt that you can do it, you doubt you could be the most confident person in the world, and then you're in a new situation and you let that little naggle of fear get in there, and all of a sudden you're not as confident as you were 2 minutes ago, and you're wondering, does this person want to talk to me? They don't care about my business. My business is tiny. Theirs is big. Like, I don't matter. They matter. So for me, because meeting new people is not my wheelhouse, I do a lot better with virtual meeting people than I do with in person. But one of the things I have to do before I walk into the meeting online or into the room in person is like talk to myself, but not in a weird way. I'm not doing the, okay, people, it'll be fine, because that's not what we're doing. But you want to kind of hype yourself up. If you have music that you enjoy the most, play that right before you go in. I have ringtones set on my phones specifically so that when my phone goes off, because my normal reaction to a phone going off is, oh man, somebody's calling me. I don't want to answer that. But I have silence out you on my phone because that makes me smile. So when I answer the phone, instead of getting that attitude, my voice is at Harvard and people are okay with whatever. Even if I have to tell them, no, thank you. I'm not into, I don't have a car. I don't need a warranty. Apparently I have a house somewhere that my mortgage is about to be up. Okay, thank you. Can I have it now? Where is that again?
You know, I have been talking to somebody online for 2 years now that similar situation, has anxiety about a power connector, connects people all the time, loved people, networks very well virtually, but can't meet people face to face. Literally goes into an anxiety attack to meet someone in person. Almost can't do it. And I was shocked because their presence is so, the word, phenomenal, virtually phenomenal. You would have never known that they can't meet because they're afraid of what somebody might think. They're too tall, they're too short, they're too fat, they're too skinny, they don't look what the person thought they were going to look like. I'm like, I never even dreamed somebody would be thinking of those things, but they do.
Yes.
And you are who you are. If they love you virtually, they're going to love you physically in person. But these are the concerns that people have. And so I could see where has to be a lot of mindset work done. And so I guess we all deal with certain things we have to do mindset work on. I mean, I know for me, when I was losing weight, I had all these lies that I believed. And so I was like, you know, I am a size blank. I weigh X number of pounds. And I said that constantly. I hate sweets. I remember praying, Lord, please take the desire of sweets. Even if you have to make me sick, I don't want to like sweets anymore. And now sometimes when I eat sweets, I get sick. And I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't have eaten that because I feel sick. And then I have to remember I prayed for that. And then
you did it to yourself.
I did it to myself. But what you're saying is so true, because sometimes when I get on a virtual meeting, similar to what we're doing today, recording this podcast, I have to say, you rock. You're gonna beat this. You're gonna be full of confidence, and you're just gonna, you're gonna kill this thing. And you're gonna, like you just said, we use the word kill, but in a positive way. And you're gonna be successful, and you talk all these positive things to yourself, so that you can go do what it is that you have to do, because maybe your mindset is telling you something differently.
A big one for me, a big problem I have. Well, I have a couple problems, but I'm not normal.
Yes, you are. You start saying, I am normal. I am normal.
So I have hearing sensitivity, and I have the desire to not have people touch me. And when you go to a network meeting in person, people want to shake your hand, or they start hugging you and like, get off of me. No. But at the same time, you want to make those connections, so you have to do the thing, because you're not going to say 2 seconds in a meeting to someone, oh yeah, no, don't do that. Because then you're throwing up this big wall. Not that I need to, and I'm not a germaphobe. It has nothing to do with that. But it does have to do with the fact that I have a choice. I haven't always had a choice. And so in my mind, I've put that barrier there where I'm done letting everybody just do what they want with me, because I am me and I get to do what I want.
Yes.
I have just as much agency as the next person. And
That's
so
right.
I don't like being touched. And you'll notice if we're ever in a group and I speak to like the whole group and I say, I have a problem being touched, yada, yada, yada. 2 minutes after that, I'll have somebody walk up to me and do the, I want to touch you. Touch. I want, no. And like, their brain can't handle that I don't like being touched. So like they go to touch, and then eventually they have to like at least like poke my arm. And I'm just sitting there laughing because like I can see the war in their face, where they're like, I want to respect her decision, but at the same time, I have to touch her in some way.
Wow.
Get that war? I really don't. But I can see it, and I can, in that case, I'm too busy laughing because this has gotten to be hilarious at that point. And so we can make a joke and we can keep moving on. But it's always hilarious. And for the next little while, somebody will walk up to me and go, okay, I know you don't like to be touched. How are you doing today?
You'll have to remind me if we ever meet in person. You'll have to, the minute I get out of the car, you'll have to say, Tonya, remember, I don't like to be touched, because I am a huge hugger. And so you'll have to, Tonya, no, stay away.
I went to Tennessee at one point to meet up with the people I worked there. And we're all meeting at this place. And I had warned everybody, I thought, ahead of time, remember, I'll hug Dave, but I'm not hugging all of you. Like, Dave has special privileges because Dave is Dave. If you remember from my podcast, he's the one who helped me through a lot of the stuff. But like, I forgot. And this one guy comes walking up and he's like, hi, how are you? Great. I'm so glad to see you. Everybody else, like, I'm looking at everybody else. Like, I'm like separated from my body at this point. Looking at everybody else and they're frozen, just like.
I bet they are.
And so somebody finally went, dude, because like he was hugging me for like ever, and I'm just standing there like, what's happening? I wasn't expecting it because I thought I'd warned everybody. I didn't tell him. That was my own fault. Somebody had to say something like, dude, she doesn't like being hugged. And he went, oh, I'm so sorry. After like a 3-minute hug. Fine, might as well get the hug with Dave over with if we're going to be all touchy right now. But it was like a whole on minute where there's like 6 of us standing around and all of us are staring at him like, what is happening?
Wow. I bet that was a long time.
So when I walk into a networking meeting and I know, right? With 100% certainty that I'm about to be touched. Or somebody's voice is going to be in an octave. Some people have a voice where you're just like, oh, shut up. Shut up now. No more talking. Ever. Don't do it. And so I kind of have to like psych myself up in those moments like, okay, you know better. You can't say anything. You can't let it show on your face. I'm like, I am quite sure that for seconds at a time when somebody's speaking that I can't stand the voice, certain people who know me will know that I'm hurting because they're looking at me and they're laughing at me because they know that I'm sitting there. Oh, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
So it's just the tone?
Sometimes it's the tone of their voice. So like there was a lady in Maryland, her voice, it was like gravel but high pitched at the same time. I could not with her. Her voice just, as soon as she started speaking the very first word out of her mouth, I was already irrationally angry and wanted her to shut up. But also, if it's in a crowded place, like if it's a big networking meeting or like a conference, like you were saying, I'm less likely to go if it's a conference because I know there's going to be hundreds of people. I'm going to have to like squeeze through people, and like that means touching. And the noise levels get to be high, and then it's like a chalkboard going down my veins. I am, like I said, I have my issues. But so the voice thing just being too loud. And so I have things that I can do to lessen that. I have some earplug things that bring the volume levels down to a place without muffling the sound so that I can still talk to the people I'm talking to and be fine. And if it goes above, if the noise level is still too high, I have so many headphones. Me and Bose get along great. They are not a sponsor, but I love their headphones. I have spent way more money than I have ever should have.
Well, you have to do what helps you.
So when I walk into those places and I know, hey, there's going to be like 30 people here. There's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of people talking to other people. I have ways that I can cut those noises down. So if you have a problem like that where you have noise issues, then you take care of it. You don't leave it to somebody else. You're not going to tell everybody else they have to be quiet. You have to do things on your end. Like, yes, I want to tell the person whose voice is annoying me to shut up. No way I would ever do it unless we got in an argument. And then I really would be like, okay, you need to shut up because your voice is annoying me. I'm not in this argument anymore. You want to argue? Let's do it by email. I can do per my last email the best of anyone. Make it fun, no matter what you do. When you go into those networking meetings, even if you don't have anxiety or you don't have fear, if you don't make it fun, make it a quest. How many people are you going to talk to before you get to have ice cream on your way home? Heck yeah, that's a reward I'm after. Give me the, give me that Sonic Blizzard, right? Is it the Sonic that's called a Blizzard? I don't remember. Anyway.
No, Blast. Theirs is a Blast.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
It's the Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I just know that I like them. It doesn't mean I know the names of anything. So if you talk to 10 people at this networking meeting, because there's 10 people there, maybe your reward is you get to have an extra hour of free time in the evening. Like, you'll give yourself that extra time away from everything. Right? And so do that. Gamify things. Gamify your life. I mean, I have to make... Okay, I do QuickBooks for some people that I work with. And QuickBooks is not a rah-rah shish boom ba program where you're dealing with numbers, and numbers are not fun, right? So one of the things I do is I'm like, okay, if I spend an hour doing this, I for sure get an extra hour of gaming in tonight. I'm going to start earlier. I'm going to have my fun because I'm bored out of my board. I'm doing it. I'm doing it properly, I hope. And to the best of my knowledge, I'm doing it properly. I have people who double check my work. But, you know, if you're even the most boring of things can be fun because you're rewarding yourself for it. So you may have anxiety, you may have fear, but if you allow the fun a chance, you might be able to move past enough. Like your friend who has problems in person. If he could, psych him going to the meeting in person, you play music you like, or you listen to that serial killer drama that you've wanted to listen to for the last week. Right? So you listen. Okay, so he's in his car and he's on his way to the thing. I don't recommend sitting in silence. I don't recommend that at all. Because that's going to give your brain the time to get to work. Right? And then by the time you get to the building, you're skitsed out. Like, you're about to have a panic attack and you haven't even opened your car door yet.
Yeah.
So I recommend music. If you listen to music in your car, then music. Or listen to the serial killer drama or whatever. Maybe you listen to gospel.com or something. I don't know. Whatever. Listen to something. I'm not quite sure what people do if they don't listen to anything in their car. Y'all are a different breed. I have to have my music going. So yeah, you can do self-development. You can have something happening while you're in the car. Mm-hmm. Going to something that you feel is going to be something you're fearing or you're not looking forward to because of your anxiety or whatever. Going in silence is your death knell, right? You're about to get your head lopped off because you're walking in the most anxious you could be because, what is it? Idle hands are the devil's plaything. Mm-hmm. Let your brain be idle enough. Like you're driving somewhere. Sure, you should be paying attention to the road, yada, yada. Guess what? You have 100% capacity in your brain at all times. Sometimes we can only do 50% of the work or 20% of the work because mental health is a thing, or we're doing, you can only multitask so many things at once, right? But for me, if I'm doing a low concentration task, my music is bumping. And I'm listening to Am I the Butthole posts from YouTube so that I can keep my brain going at levels that like I can't do if I'm just doing the task and I'm bored. I'm so bored, I don't want to do this anymore. And I get 15 minutes in and I'm done because I haven't made my brain concentrate enough. So if you turn the music on or you turn on the podcast that you like, hopefully this one, and you listen to that as you're going to the event, you are 60% more likely to go in less anxious. Not saying you're going to be anxiety free because that's not a thing. It doesn't happen for me anyway. But you're at a place where you're like, I can be a little bit better about this. Okay? You have noise sensitivity. Make sure that you have your different ways that you deal with that. Because everybody who has a noise sensitivity knows they have it and has different ways of dealing with it. So you have your earplugs. I have some really cool ones that I can't remember the name of that I love. I will rock those things out because they cut down on the sound and they don't muffle the voices. Which is good for me because I don't want to be in a fishbowl, but I need you to be quiet.
I need to be able to do my thing.
I can listen to my music at full blast, but the organ at church is just a bit much. That kind of thing. Or screaming babies are always a thing. So then, before you walk in that door, have a goal in mind. If it's your first time in public after a very long time, because we did all just come off of that, right? Then, or it's your first time in a while because you had decided that your anxiety was just too bad. I can't do this. Try again.
Right.
With these tips. So 1, you're going to have music on your way there, or you're going to have something playing. Don't give your mind time to concentrate on anything else. Sing to the music. Really make sure that part of your brain is actually engaged in what is being said. Okay, so now you're there. You have your earplugs in if you need them. However, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you have fidget toys so that your fingers are always helpful. I have mine. Again, love this thing. I couldn't do little spinners because it took too much of my brain power. These things, I can flip it around real good, and I love this thing. Which you can tell because, like, the paint is coming off. So have your fidget toy if you know that you're going to need something for your hands to be doing. Know yourself. If you take stock of yourself and you know what you need to do to lessen your anxiety, to bring that fear down a little bit, take your anxiety medications 15 minutes before you get there so that by the time you get there, it's got you in that chill zone that you like. You know, not recommending anything else because we're not doing drugs here.
That's right.
And then when you're in there, have your goal, right? So I'm going to talk to 3 people and I'm going to get this awesome reward of something I like doing. Not another chore. This is not, and then I get to go home and do the laundry. And it's not, okay, I'm going to talk to 2 people here and then I'm going to go to church in an hour. No, don't do that to yourself. Don't go into a high anxiety thing and then turn around and go into another public event. No. You're not going to be okay. You're setting yourself up for failure. And the more you fail at something, because you've done that, the more you're going to recess back in and say, okay, well, I can't go out in public anymore because I get too anxious. It's just so bad. But you had 3 networking meetings in one day. What are you doing? No. Choose your poisons. Know yourself. Right? First person you should talk to at any networking event is somebody you already know. That helps get some of that. Oof, Tonya's here. I can talk to Tonya and I'll be fine. Because Tonya is great. And then I can move on to people who are more scary because I have had that boost of, hey, I'm here and I'm talking to people.
You've gotten comfortable.
Yeah. And if you're one of those people who doesn't want to interrupt a conversation, I have been to way more than one networking event where people are standing in a circle around because 2 people are talking back and forth and people are waiting their turn. Listen to the conversation. If you have something that you can say that will add value to what is being said, interrupt in a polite way. Don't just say, oh, no, that's not how you do that. Right? You can say, you know what? I have a piece of advice if you'd like. The best way to do that is to do it this way. Because if you do it the way you guys were just discussing, you may be thought of as fraud. Or, oh, I know somebody who can help you. I have this person that I'm connected with in this other networking thing that I do online, and they would be a great fit for what you were just talking about. Here's my email. Send me an email, and as soon as you do, I'll get you that. I'll set up an email so that you guys can talk. Or if you want, I can do a conversation over the phone. However that would work for them. You're helping them. So my big need in life is to help people. I'm not in it for money. I'm not money motivated at all. Yes, I do need a certain amount of money to make sure that my bills are paid and that I have the insurance I want and all that kind of thing. But other than that, I'm not money motivated. I'm not going to be sitting here going, oh, I need to have another $500 this month. Or, I want to go get that goal for $500. No, because you know what? Even if I tried for that $500, I'm going to miss it by about that much. And it'll piss me off. Because I'm going to know that I missed it by that much. I'm just going to be upset about the whole thing.
You're going to go over it by that much.
I'm going to overthink that into the ground. And the next time that thing comes, I'm going to lose by this much. Because I've done overthought it and only corrected for that much and lost everything else I did.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I'm good at that. But yeah, when you have anxiety, when you fear new things, the best way to go about it is to make sure that just before the event, you do something that is fun for you. So listen to your music or your podcasts or your learning thing if you really like to learn that much. Listen to Charlotte Dobre or other people who are comedians on Facebook and stuff and who are really funny. I've heard some really awesome stuff from a lot of people, but like just follow them. And if you're the passenger in the car, watch the video as you're on your way there and laugh, have fun. Don't think about what you're going to do. Just before you walk in that door and you say hi to the first person you have to say hi to, that's when you set your goal. Don't think about the goal at home. Don't set the goal at home. When you're in front of that door, take a deep breath, hold it for a second, and then let it out. And then go, okay, where I'm at right now, I think I can talk to 2 people. And then I'm going to go to the theater because there's a movie I want to watch. X-Men and Wolverine or something's out now that people look. I'm so bad. I don't watch movies, people. Leave me alone. Don't come for me.
Twisters. I'm gonna watch Twisters.
And so, give yourself that thing, but set it low at the door. And then every time you double that, so instead of talking to 2 people, you talk to 4 because you're super good today. That's 2 movies this week you get to go see if you have the money. Or maybe you do it, twice this month instead of the week, whatever. But you have an extra reward that you get because you've doubled it. Now, here's the opposite thing. You don't want to get on yourself if you only talk to 1 person. Because you were there. You made it there. You talked to someone. That counts. So go to the movie anyway. Or have a lesser prize. So I don't get to go there, but maybe I can go to the grocery store and pick up some popcorn and have movie night at home. Right? So you do something, but it's not quite as big because you didn't quite make your goal. But the big thing is, don't get on yourself. Because if you start yelling at yourself, you have that conversation in your mind. Why didn't I talk to another person? It wasn't that big of a deal. It was only 1 other person. Why couldn't I just talk to 1 other person? Because you weren't ready to. Sometimes we have to realize that we have, there's that spoon theory thing that's going around. You don't have enough spoons. You ran out of spoons before you got to 2 people. And that's perfectly okay. You went to that event. You talked to a person. You get some kind of a reward, just maybe not as big as what you thought when you were thinking you were going to do something bigger, right? But you don't want to turn around and start that whole thing in your head, because that conversation that you have in your head is what happens the next time. Why can't you just talk to 1 person? Well, now you're not going to be able to talk to 1 person the next time because you've done crapped on yourself so bad that you don't want to talk to anybody. You've built that fear back up. You've made it a living, breathing thing. And that's only going to smack you in the face. It's only going to make things worse. You can't do better or be better if that voice in your head is speaking demon tongue.
That's true. That's true.
If you're spitting at yourself, I mean, I've done it. Like, don't get me wrong. I am not perfect. My mental health has been a journey. And I hate that word because everybody uses it now, even AI, right? Everybody's saying, oh, my journey was this or my journey was that. I'm not one of those people. But it wasn't
a journey.
one day I was fine and great. No, it took me years. It took me years of working on myself to get to a point where I could start to open up. And it took meeting someone who is like the embodiment of peace. Kim is like the calmest person on the planet somehow. But like with her in the room, I can defeat mountains.
That's
right.
Great.
I can do things that I can't push myself to do when I'm alone.
That's great.
So maybe you need a friend. Maybe you need a partner that. Now remember, you don't want to turn into Bonnie and Clyde, right? You don't want somebody who's going to make your mental health worse, who's going to make, the 2 of you together are now a murdering crime spree waiting to happen. That's not what we want. We want to connect with people who maybe are doing a little bit better than us, or maybe we're both working to the same goal. Or maybe they are just the best friend we've had for the longest amount of time that we can remember. So I'm a military brat. I was born and raised all over the country. I have been to or lived in every state in the U.S. except for Alaska and Hawaii. I've never been out of the country, but I've been all over this one, okay? And so I'll have people ask me, who have you known the longest? And I'm like, my sisters? I mean,
Wow.
Some people are like, yeah, I've had my best friend for 40 years. And I'm like, you're 42. Yeah, we met when we were 2 years old. Nope, I don't know anybody from that far back except for my sister. But make sure that whoever you are with, that you both build each other up. Not to do evil, but to do good. And move towards those goals together. Be there for each other. Like, oh, I have a network meeting today. Can you come with me? Sure, will you come to mine tomorrow? And then you both go to each other's and you're just there as, the stuffed animal support. Right? So you're there to be the soft and squishy that they know they can talk to you. And you know you can talk to them. And guess what? You've just networked in an extra group. Bonus points, you get to go to the mall today. Do people even go to malls anymore?
I just went this weekend. To my granddaughter. All of it about an hour.
But life, like gamifying life is the best way to do it. I don't know who came up with that term, but I've been doing it for years. And then I heard that and was like, oh, wait, yeah. That for sure. That makes sense. Like, I get that. I'm totally with that. Because even if your reward is, I have cookies at home and I'm going to get some milk and I'm going to eat my cookies. I'm going to cuddle up in a blanket and be on the couch and not cry. Right? But I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to do that self-care. So if you do what you need to do, you set your reward and then follow through with it. And then if you don't reach your goal, don't kick yourself too bad. Just say, okay, next time.
Starting over.
Next time. And then the next time you set your goal again. And don't lower your goal just because you failed it the first time. Otherwise, you're going to fail again. Because the more you step back, the more you're going to end up back at home, unable to meet people in person.
So true. Never lower the goal.
No. But if you don't make the goal, it's not the end
of the world.
Nobody's dying because you didn't talk to 2 people. Okay? So go talk to 2 people. And if there's conversations going on and you can't get in anywhere, go back to your friend. Go back to the one you knew you could talk to when you went there. And go back to talking to them. It's not 2 people, but they're going to have, like you. I know that if I go to a networking meeting with you and I stay hanging around you, I'm going to meet everybody there. Because everybody's going to want to talk to you. So I will be fine if I just stay there and then walk away once my people limit has been met. Like, okay, you're on your own. I'm gone.
Sometimes what's uncomfortable is talking to someone, knowing other people are standing there waiting to talk to you, and you can't get away from the one you're talking to so that you can go talk to others. Such a weird feeling.
I've only been networking this year. Okay. I only started networking this year. Before that, I didn't think it was something I could do. I put such a big importance on, like I said, I have issues. But I didn't think I needed to. Dave is a networking god. Not really, but you know what I mean? Like, he knows people that know people who need help with something. And he will you know what? Nikki can do that. Nikki can do that. 90% of the people I work with are people that he's gone, hey, Nikki can help you.
That's
So
awesome.
I didn't think I needed to network. And then I kind of got to the point where I'm like, he's in his 60s. I think maybe, just maybe, I should start networking, because if he kaputs, I'm kaput. And I don't want to be kaput.
Right. Exactly. No, it's so critical. It's so critical. And when you step back and look at it, it's really so easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy. Just asking a few questions and adding value.
So here's an example of what can happen if you're around me.
Let's hear it.
Our first in-person meeting for Alignable, right? The very first one where we had that lady from Alignable come. One of the girls there was talking about how she posts like 12 times a day sporadically on social media. And I'm like, I turned around, like she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to somebody else. And I was like, you're not spreading misinformation with me standing right here. That is not how you do social media. No. So I turned around and I said, it is better for you just to post once a day and hit it every single day than it is for you to post 12 times a day one day and nothing for 3 weeks. Spread that out. And she was like, really? Yes.
Yes.
And then she goes, well, what about groups? I know I have to talk to people in groups. I'm like, yes. What about it? And she's like, well, they don't let you advertise. And I'm like, no, you should not be advertising. You shouldn't even want to. What do you mean? You're there to help people. If you help people, they're going to go, hey, I want to know this person. If you put information out there that helps somebody with whatever their problem is, right? I'm in groups for psoriasis, and I have told people point blank, that thing didn't work for me. I'm allergic to that shot. But I have been able to tell people, no, that's not a normal reaction. Go to your doctor. Or, yes, that's pretty normal. You know, whatever. Don't worry about it. Then you have everybody who's like afraid of anything medical. Oh, yeah. They use natural weeds and things. How do you think our ancestors stayed alive? I have a point. Dude, let me just say that your ancestors didn't stay alive if they had the same illness as we do. And I guarantee you, especially with as widespread as mine can be, that as soon as the crops went dry, how long gonna make it through the season, okay? I guarantee you, I did not survive at any point. You know, they would have gotten rid of me. However, they would have banished me from the tribe or just thrown me in the lake or whatever. However they wanted to, they'd have gotten rid of me because I was strange and different. And you're not allowed to be strange and different when nobody has food and the crops are dry. Your ancestors didn't survive by putting berries on their arms and legs. Sorry, but that's like our ancestors had to do something to survive. Yeah, they survived by not having this. This developed later because I guarantee you the people who did have this, off with their head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But helping in those groups and putting input in and answering people's questions and, you know, talking to people and being active, when you do that, that is one thing. But if you go into a group and you're what did you call it earlier when somebody wants to sell right off the bat?
A goofball.
Yeah.
You're a goofball.
Some people want to be a goofball, even in those groups. They're like, no, but I have to advertise. I want to make money now. I have to advertise because I want to make money now. Well, I'm guaranteeing you, if you go into that group and tell them, hey, I can do this for you, first of all, they're not going to care. Second of all, one of them admin, especially if you went into a private group, which is what you have to do if you want to get anything across. And they're going to kick you.
They're going to kick you out.
Because you have just done exactly probably what their rules say you're not allowed to do. Every single one of them say don't advertise.
Mhm. There are some groups out there today that you can pay to play. You can pay them a fee to advertise, but you're going to pay. You
Yeah.
can't go into free groups and advertise.
Mm-mm.
They're not out there.
So it's it's wild. Learn how to talk, Tonya.
Yes, Nikki, thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. It's been a pleasure being on with you and learning and talking about building authentic connections is, again, something I firmly believe in, and talking about how mental health connects with building authentic relationships. I definitely agree. There's people out there that freeze up, they have anxiety around building connections. And like you said, talking it up, doing those things to get yourself prepared before going out and doing those things definitely brings value to yourself and preparing yourself for those activities.
Okay, you have a good afternoon. Go
I
succeed at
will.
something.
You too. You do the same.